Now here's my topic. I was at the beach last week.
Yeah, man, hang 10,
bro. With Lola, and we were playing, and people were on the beach, and we were having a good time. And I'm wearing the Northeastern jacket I bought when we were in Boston, and a gentleman walks up to me, and very nicely was like, "Hello, is that a Northeastern jacket?" And I'm like, "Yes, it's a Northeastern jacket because it actually says Northeastern on it. So yes, it's a Northeastern jacket."
Damn, you were rude to this guy.
I wasn't. I was like, "Yeah, and he's like, "Oh, my daughter just graduated from that." I'm like, "Oh, I'm class of 07, and we were chatting, or whatever." And I was like, "Oh, that was a nice little encounter." Mm-hmm. And then I was walking down the beach and had this like really almost dumb revelation about society, and started just looking around and noticing a natural order to things. And I was curious what you guys think of these things and these things that you might take for granted, right? So just on the beach alone, I was like, okay, these guys are in their wetsuits surfing or like, whatever, and their shit's just on the beach.
Yeah.
I could just go steal their stuff, but I don't, right? There's pets playing on the beach and I could just go steal a pet or kill it or just do whatever, like just crazy you can do whatever you want, but we're all just going about our business and there's a great order to everything that's happening, right? Then I'm walking home and kind of observing it. The mailman's delivering the mail, right? One of those DWS trucks is like coming and picking up garbage. And then I'm like walking and I'm like, there's a really interesting natural order to society. And I take everything for granted that nothing is chaotic. Now, of course, we have exceptions. There are shootings and there's violent crime and there's theft and burglary and all of these kinds of things and a lot of, dishonesty and stuff in the society. But it brought up just a brief discussion I wanted to have with you guys about like, what are these things? Do you take this stuff for granted too? Because I never really, we've thought about the social contract. We've in a very scholarly way. We thought about the function of taxes and like what they pay for and stuff like that. But I was just kind of walking around being like, it's kind of interesting that we all just kind of do our own thing. Generally, 99% of the society you would assume is never really going to have a bad experience with each other in a way that's going to be violent or cause death or destruction or something like that. Have you guys ever stopped and thought about that? Because it was really weird that I never really stopped and had this moment until I had this conversation with this guy on the beach. We just walked our separate ways, never saw each other again. It was a very nice conversation. Seeing people going about their business, trusting others are going to be fine with their belongings or their pets or whatever's going on around them. And I just kind of thought it was an interesting kind of observation. Maybe an obvious observation, an incredibly obvious observation, but one maybe so obvious that I never really stopped to think about it.
I think that's what it is. It's you just don't think about it. You don't think about how you breathe. You just breathe.
Right.
But I had that moment where I really, exactly like you just did, where it's like every little thing I started noticing when I first learned to drive. I was driving and I sneezed. And I was scared to drive because I was learning, didn't know what I was doing. And I sneezed and like my eyes closed because that's what happens when you sneeze. And I remember feeling like, oh my God, like I could have killed somebody right now because my eyes were closed sneezing, but I had to do that. And then I remember being like, man, there's a red light that I'm stopped at now. Why am I doing this? Just because someone told me to? This guy's stopping too. I'm trusting that this guy's stopping. I'm trusting that that guy's stopping. Why are we trusting that anybody's like following these rules or these laws? And like, yeah, we have driver's licenses, but like,
how hard were those to get?
Yeah, like my brother got one, and I don't think he deserved one when he got one. Right. Now he probably does, but it's like all this stuff where I'm like, man, I know all these people like cheating on their driving tests and stuff, and I'm like, that's probably not a good thing. But we all trust, and then eventually you learn, and you're all just like, yeah, this is how we do it. And if we're at a stop sign and we stop, and there's that awkward moment of who really stopped first, yeah, you might get a little mad, but whoever does the thing last, you're the loser. That's how it goes.
Now, see, on that note, I appreciate the wave. I don't like the go ahead. Do you know what I mean? Do you know the difference?
Oh,
you know
I will go. It's my turn.
Oh, I'm sorry. Was I not the person that got here first because I was paying attention and you were checking text? Hate that. Sorry. Continue.
No, I mean that's you're nailing it though.
See, I mean that's my thing is like that's all fine and dandy. We all choose on a daily basis to act like civilized human beings, but that's only skin deep. That's only really on the surface. There is a boiling pot of anger. I think that's just waiting to get out at any given moment, and you see it. Maybe it's just me, but you see it when you come to those instances where those societal norms start to break down.
Airplanes
are a perfect example, right? Yep. When people are forced to be together in a small enclosed area and our control is taken away from us, and then we start. It breaks down.
Fuck
fast.
Everybody else, it's me.
Right, exactly.
I gotta get my bag on this plane, so I will push this old lady out of the way to get on that plane faster. And then you get mad at the people who are getting up and like don't know how to get off a plane. Like, well, no, you're 3 rows back. Why the fuck are you trying to get past my row?
That is why my favorite person to sit next to. Like, I love sitting next to Colin. In an ideal situation, I got an aisle seat and he has an aisle seat, so we can still chat like little girls, like we do sometimes when we share a room. And then when the plane starts to deplane, like when we've hit the gate and it starts to deplane, and that one person starts, I swear to God, almost one time I saw you almost put an arm out and stop the guy and be like, but Colin will do the thing where he's like, oh, I'm sorry. No, we'll wait for you because your life is more important than us. All of us know how to get out in an orderly fashion, but you, sir, are clearly more. I didn't know you were the king. Didn't even know the king was back there writing. We got to let him out first. Oh my God, it was the funniest fucking thing. I'm like, Colin, forever be you. Don't ever not
Forever be you.
Don't ever not be you. But yeah, I mean, it is a little weird, right? It is a little weird that, like, another perfect example is I was standing in the Starbucks as I do most of my life.
But not that one Starbucks.
No, I was the Presidio Starbucks because I refused to go back to that one except for yesterday when I went back there. I was with my parents. They wanted to go. I was like, whatever, fine.
You come in with like a fake mustache on
No,
top of
I
your
saw
real
the
mustache.
guy. I was just like, whatever, we over this. At this point, I gave him the look, and I don't think he recognized
It
me.
would have been awesome. He's like, oh, the king's back,
Right,
everybody.
exactly, right.
Too good to wait in line or use our online ordering.
Look at you. No, I was just, I think it was like a Saturday or Sunday. I just went for a walk to the Presidio, and there's a nice Starbucks there near ILM. And I'm like, oh, cool. And I looked in, there was a line. I'm like, whatever. I'm in a chill mood right now. I got nothing, no place to go. So I sat in this line for, 5 minutes as it like kind of curled around. And I got almost to the front, but we were leaving as a group. I guess we had just decided, like whoever decided at first was like, I'm going to leave a huge space between where the line stops and the counter because that's where the door is. So people come in and out that way. And everyone has the same look where they walk in, look and see the line and go, oh, I'm not going to stand here. I'm going to curl around, except for this one person. This one older woman who was on her phone talking, couldn't give a shit about anything else, was very like whatever, and stood right in front. It just came in and was like, looked at me and then stood right in front of me. And I was like, I'm about to get irate at this person until I looked behind me and saw the other people getting mad too. And I'm like, you know what? Whatever.
Mob justice.
I'm like, I got nothing better to do.
You let her cut?
I let her cut.
Oh, man.
I was like, I don't think she was doing it on purpose, right? I had that moment where I'm trying to practice a little bit more mindfulness where I'm like, this is a mistake. This is an accident. This is not something done intentionally.
You
not
can't make
like
a
the
scene in
asshole was
every-
like, go ahead. I'm letting you go at the stop sign. That guy, I want to beat his brains out. But this person was just oblivious and wasn't paying attention. And so I looked behind her and the guy behind me was getting pissed. And I was like, I gave him like what are you going to do? And he was like, all right. Fine.
That's so on Nick.
I know. I was at first I was like, I was pissed. But then I was like, what am I going to do?
Now,
Tap her on the shoulder.
She's like a 105-pound woman. And I'm going to yell at her for.
That means you can throw her even further.
Just kick her right in the choach. Just punch her into the pastry
throw her
cabinet.
into space.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, does she have a tail? Just throw her out like the Mario.
Hey, you ever seen 200 cats attack you?
No, I think it goes back to the thing I've talked about often where like when I hold the door open for someone or hand someone something, they don't say thank you, I'm always like, you're welcome, really loud. Now, once in a while.
There's one guy that fucking gave you shit for it.
Yeah, New York.
Where is that?
Yeah,
where
New
you
York.
were?
I was like, yeah, I accept it. I'm home, I guess. I can't be like this here.
What did he say to you? You were like, you're welcome. He's like, oh, what? What, I owe you something?
Yeah. We were on
thank you for this great service.
I was on the subway going to Barclays Center, I think, and I was going to Ramon, so it was like in Park Slope or something, and I was at Atlantic Terminal or something, and I like went like this. A guy can go in front of me, and he just walked past me like, you're welcome. He's like, oh, what? Like I owe you something? And I was like, oh, I accept that.
Like,
I'm
yeah,
home.
I accept that.
I'm not. I can throw myself around like an asshole here because no one says anything to me, but I can't do this back home.
Yeah.
And that was the first time I did it, so I was like, yeah, you don't play with math here because I'll just have this fucking experience 17 more times.
Every time.
Because I do the same shit to people. I'm like, I wonder where I got it.
Yeah.
But it's not designed to be an educational experience. It's designed to make me feel better about, like, it's almost like, fuck you. You just, like, there are people that, like, you hold the door for people, and there are people that just walk right through the door and they acknowledge it.
Yeah, it does. It happens
But
a lot.
once in a while, when I say it, a person's like, oh, I'm sorry, thank you. And I'm like, that was an educational experience for you, sir, wasn't it? Or madam. But mostly, it's usually just a way for me to be vindictive because I'm mad that they didn't say thank you.
Well, I mean, but it's not though, right? Because to that point, like, especially in this city, I've noticed this in the last like 2 or 3 years, is that life seems to be speeding up exponentially as technology speeds up, and as more and more, especially in San Francisco, more and more people move to this city. There are more people living in this city, I would wager, than ever before.
Oh yeah, way more.
We're building way more. There's way more wealth, and with all of this, the speed and this rapid pace of life and this money comes people and technology rather. It becomes people just existing in their own space. This like 1 foot radius that is theirs, and everyone else around them they are oblivious to, and they don't fucking care. And until you occasionally like ask someone, like wake them up or like touch them or make contact or like verbally say, yo, you got to pay attention to what's going on. Most people, especially in my neighborhood, couldn't care about you. You could be dead on the sidewalk and they'd be like, oh, I'm just gonna walk over that guy and keep checking whatever I'm checking on my giant phone. And it's like, the more we allow this to happen, the less and less I honestly believe we're in touch with each other, and that's sad.
It is sad, but it goes back to I also think it's just there's differences geographically as well. Like, you know, I think things are just more laid back here, which I think has its pros and its cons.
Sure.
And you know, people often talk about going to Manhattan. Tourists and be like, the New Yorkers are really rude to me, you know? But then observe the behavior of a fucking tourist in New York. They're just standing in the middle of the fucking, on Fifth Avenue, standing in the middle of the sidewalk taking pictures, and they're wondering why people are yelling at them when they're trying to get by, you know? But you see that shit here, people just standing in the middle of the sidewalk, everyone's just like walking around them, like, get the fuck out of the way. Like, have some sort of like a coherence of what's going on around you.
He's not kidding though. I was down in the financial district the other day.
It's insane.
I was like down there running an errand for Kind of Funny Live, and I'm on like Montgomery, and I went, and as I walked in, I mean, there was a rush of people like crossing the street because they have certain intersections where all lights go red at the same time and everyone has to cross just for crowd control. And I felt like a tourist. I was like, oh, I'm sorry. And people were like knocking me around, not giving a shit, and just kept going on their way.
Sometimes you trying to make it in the big city, little boy.
I was like, cry.
Yeah, it's just like self-awareness can go a long way. Now we all have our moments of not being self-aware.
Sure.
The thing is that like when someone calls me out on that, when I'm in the way and I realize I'm in the way, or when I'm like, I'm sorry, I'll throw out an apology or whatever if I'm like standing in someone's way and they have to walk around. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I don't mean to like. But there are people that are just like literally like just standing there with their entire family, with their dog and their carriage, and they're like, and I'm like, dude, you are in the middle of the sidewalk on Market Street. Get out of the way.
Yeah.
But everyone here, to their credit, I guess, just walks around them and doesn't say anything. If you did that shit in New York or Boston, people would be like, what are you like? Are you serious? And then those people would never want to come back to those cities again. And then they have these stories about how everyone's mean in New York and Boston, but it's really your fault for being oblivious.
Right.
You know, like, so I think that's part of the social contract as well, is to just like be like, someone holds a door for you, thank them. If you're in the way on the sidewalk, if you have to stop on the sidewalk, just move over. Is it really that hard? I hate stupid people and I hate oblivious people.
Yeah.
They're the worst, and they are usually one and the same. So that's like, if you made a mistake, that's different. But people that just like gung-ho just walk through a door someone else hold, I would never do that. Someone would never hand me something at a restaurant. I would just ignore them.
That's the
you know,
city,
like someone
though.
like I just
you know
these are basic social norms. Your parent, if you have parents that taught you anything, you know, it's like it's just not that hard. That's the shit that really annoys me.
I blame technology because every single time, well, there's two instances.
There's always been assholes though.
But every single time I'm stuck behind someone on a street, or every time I'm inconvenienced by someone on the street, it's either for one or two reasons. One, they have a huge space age Voltron style baby carriage that's in front of them that like they could ride the back of, that's self-propelled. All these women in my neighborhood have these. You've seen them probably at this point. Yeah. And a lot of them have,
your neighborhood's interesting.
A lot of them, because they have multiple kids, have the double-decker ones that like literally take up the entire sidewalk. And so you'll stop and be like, oh shit, there's traffic today on the sidewalk. Either that or people literally are just wired into the matrix, man. They're just staring at their phone, walking. And I fear for people because I see them walking across Lombard Street texting. And I'm like, yo, this is a main thoroughfare. Like, you're going to get hit by a car and they just don't care. And I'm like, well, I guess that's Darwinism, right? That's survival of the fittest right there. Because if you're not smart enough to pay attention to these idiot drivers who are coming as tourists into the city, who've never existed in the city before, and are cutting over. Like my wife the other day almost got hit by a car because the car ran over the curbs turning on its timer. It turned too sharply and I like kind of pulled her back in the car. Arr! And I'm like, dude, even the drivers aren't paying attention anymore because they're probably talking to someone or texting, or it doesn't matter.
They do in Batman and it's cool. They do it in front of you and you're just not impressed.
That's so cool. Well, everything's cool in Batman.
But for all of the complaints we have, I mean, I sound as curmudgeonly as I usually do. The beauty of it is, like, the beauty of what I noticed that day was just the natural order of society. I don't think it's American society. I think it's probably just society generally, where there is kind of a respect of just like generally. I'm not saying everything. I mean, obviously we have a high crime rate in the United States and stuff. I'm not saying we don't, but although crime is way down compared to where it was, you know, even a few years ago. But we respect generally like people's space. You respect people's property. Like the fact that you know, can like in suburbia, like you have a house in the middle of Montana, right? You have 12 acres. You go on vacation for 2 weeks. Anyone can do whatever the fuck they want on that property. Mm-hmm. They could do whatever they want. They can go in your house. They can steal everything you have. They can burn it to the ground. Yeah. And and you go back and your house is just locked in exactly the way you left it. And it's kind of remarkable when you think about it. Like, it's kind of like, oh, like we have like some rules here that we are not, it's not like the rules of the jungle or the rules of like lower life forms would be like, they have shit. We're going to take it.
Right. Because we can't.
Like, and it's like,
that still happens.
To a
certain degree.
Sure, but it's to the point of there's more good people than bad.
Yeah, way more good people. That's the thing that So even the people that I give a little grief to that don't hold, they're probably just not bad people. They're just rude. And there's not, and their
mother probably died that morning.
Yeah, you always
somebody broke up with them. You don't know what's happening.
That's a good point too.
Head.
Is you always, and everyone's been in that position, and I certainly have a few times where everyone like I go at someone, whether it was at work at IGN or something like that, and then like, well, this just happened to me, and I'm like, oh, sorry. So you try to appreciate it as well. But I just noticed this natural order that I was like, huh, and it has nothing to do with like any governmental functions necessarily, although it could. It's just like with like picking up the trash or mowing the lawns or whatever, which is totally fine. I think that's a totally appropriate function of a city government. But it's just more like these children are playing safely on their swing set and their parents are watching them. No one's bothering them at all. This guy's just sitting here reading a book. No one's bothering him at all. These people are swimming, leaving their wallet and their shoe on the beach. No one's going up. Everyone knows they can probably go steal that guy's shit, but they aren't. And this guy,
you put it down the toe of your shoe. Nobody knows.
No one knows. No one has any idea. And this guy stops me because he sees my Northeastern thing is feels safe enough and I mean, it's not safe or bold or whatever, but it's like just wants to talk to me because I have them. We have a nice conversation and shake hands and walk away and never talk to each other again. And I'm like, huh, it's just an interesting kind of thing. I never really had thought about like the harmony of the things that go on around us. And it goes to the stop signs and the street lights, and you go into a store and you pay for what you take. Like you could easily walk in the Safeway and just walk out. And I don't think anyone would ever notice. You know what I mean? Like you straight up, like who's gonna stop you? The person that's making $10 an hour ringing up the groceries?
Depends on the size of the fruit.
My brother the other day, I think it was Friday night before Kind of Funny Live, and him and his crew were in town. They're a great bunch of people, but they've worked together for so long, and they've noticed that for so long that they can get rowdy a little bit. And
your brother getting rowdy?
Right.
No.
We go to that Walgreens on Chestnut, and my brother's like, "Yo, can I take this cart?" And the guy's like, "Sir, I don't think you can take that," because he bought a bunch of stuff and he had to carry it to his hotel, which is only a couple blocks away. And he goes, "No, you can't take that, sir." And brother's like, "Well, I'll bring it right back. Like, I'm not taking it. I don't want to borrow it and bring it back." And the guy's like, "No, you don't understand. You literally can't take it. It's got a thing on it that if it goes past the door, will start like it's an alarm, right?" And my brother's like, "Oh, I get you. I hear what you're saying." So we found another one of the cars that didn't have that one, and my brother would just load it up, and he's like, "Yo, can I take this one?" And the guy's like, "Sir, I don't think." He's like, "Cool," and he just bounced with it. And I was like, "Matt, this is my neighbor." He's like, "I'm gonna bring it back." And he brought it back. So I guess I don't know if that's to your point or to your point.
There's a certain trust.
Bring it back.
It happened today when we were I noticed I brought my mom and her husband to the diner I like to eat at. I usually eat by myself, but I brought them and when I eat there. And I brought them, we were sitting, and this woman next to us had never been there before. She's a noob to this place, doesn't realize it's cash only. So she tries to pay them with a credit card. And she's like, "I don't have any cash." And she's like, and the woman's like, "Just go get cash and come back." And she's like, "All right, do you want me to like leave collateral? Like I'll leave my bag here. It's on my cell phone." She's like, "No, just go."
Yeah.
And
never saw her again.
Lo and behold, the woman came back 5 minutes later with the money. She could have just left. She had never been there before. No one had ever seen her. These are the kinds of things I was talking about. You walk into a grocery store and I could just take a pack of cookies off the thing and just walk out.
Yeah, you could.
I could. Every time. I probably could get away with it over and over again.
Oh no, that's
it's like but you just don't do it. It's not the right thing to do. You because we're a society of laws. That's Seinfeld.
Yep.
And so I don't know. I just kind of started to think about like there's these things we just take for granted now. And that's what, and technically crime, I guess, is when those things that are taken for granted aren't followed anymore. When you do infringe on a right of another person or whatever. So it's just a very basic kind of thing that I thought about that would be an interesting thing to talk about. And so I wanted to bring that up today for you today.
And today, that topic from today was sponsored by Harry's. A Harry's shaving set will make the perfect Father's Day gift. It looks cool, it feels special, and it's something that Dad will actually use. Dads can be impossible to shop for, Nick.
Oh God, they are.
You don't want to get another tie or a pair of socks he's never going to wear, but you also don't want to get something really. You also don't want to get something really practical that doesn't feel special enough to be a gift.
Right.
Thankfully,
like socks.
No, we already covered that. There was
an
never
ashtray.
wear.
How about a tie?
No, ties we've covered too. Ashtray that's fine.
I can get my dad ashtrays for Father's Day.
You just call it an ashtray?
Yeah, ashtray.
You got your dad an ashtray. I give you good one.
Shaped like a twerk dancer.
You put it out right in the brown eye. Thankfully, Harry's has got you covered. While supplies last, Harry's is offering a special limited edition shave set for Father's Day. Get one for Dad and get one for yourself too. The limited edition Father's Day shave set includes a matte black razor handle, a chrome razor stand, Harry's moisturizing foaming shave gel, 3 of Harry's handcrafted blade cartridges, and a travel cover, all for $40.
Ooh, there.
Oh,
the foaming.
Oh, the foams.
It's foams.
It's gonna go over big in the north of the country.
Canadian community.
I was trying to think if it was Minnesota or Wisconsin. There.
That might have been Minnesota, actually.
Okay.
I thought you were going to do like Toronto.
Plus, it comes in a sleek, giftable box with the option to add custom engraving and a personalized card. Harry's also offers shaving sets at different price points, starting at $15. Get one for yourself. Go to harrys.com right now and redeem a special offer code for fans of the show. Harry's will give you $5 off your first purchase with the promo code KINDAFUNNY. Don't wait. Economy shipping for Father's Day ends on Thursday, June 9th, so act now. That's Harry's, HARRYS.com. Enter the code KINDAFUNNY at checkout to get $5 off. Get Dad something he'll actually use for Father's Day. Yeah! Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Game Over Greggy Show. If you didn't know, each week, 4, sometimes 5 best friends gather on this table, each bring a random topic of discussion for your amusement. If you like that, head over to patreon.com/kindafunny, another good Father's Day gift, if your dad's a dork. And you can support us there and get exclusive episodes, good goodies, the shows early, all that stuff. Ooh, I'm your dad.
I do science projects.
You still playing with your Vita? Let's go over and play some Freedom Wars together. Where's your Panopticon? If you got no bucks to toss, go to youtube.com/kindafunny, where we put the show up topic by topic, day by day, until the entire thing posts on Big Deal Friday as one big MP3
Don't even think about saying that.
Kevin! We need to take more breaks.
I'm going to change the passwords on all the socials so you
It's
can't see
under
it.
my name. If you didn't know,
I know the password to that account too.
it's been our pleasure to serve you.